the back. Won't in any way harm it, but will make it easier to move. And we did think that, having talked about making a green garden, we ought to go and see one that's mature and worked well. So we paid a trip to see Kevin Wilson in Dulwich, right in the middle of London, to see how he had transformed his garden into a green oasis.
Well, I went mainly for foliage because there's so many different sort of shades of green, there's so many different leaf shapes, so much sort of architectural planting as well, and it gives you a sort of a lusher atmosphere. It's nice to allow plants to do a little bit of what they want to do themselves. Well, to keep this green garden interesting, I tend to sort of mix lots of plants and climbers together, and they all do something different at different times of the year. You might have morning glory, which of course does flower and has beautiful heart-shaped leaves as well. Jasmines, honeysuckle. This garden, it's very lush, and you don't just have the planting below you and around you, but you have it above you. There's lots of ducking and diving in this garden. There is a lot of decking in this garden. I've softened all the edges with curves, and it follows the line of the plants. And then you soften it with the plants around the edges and things, so therefore it doesn't look as harsh. And there is a piece around here on this other bit of decking where tree fern is actually, you know, I've actually cut sort of a 9-inch hole in the decking, and the tree fern actually comes out of the hole in the decking. So, you know, it looks a lot more natural. It's nice to have the summer house, especially at the bottom of the garden where most people would have a compost heap. And also, when I open the garden through the NGS, the National Garden Scheme, it's a really nice surprise for people. Plus, when I have friends come to stay, or even myself, you know, sometimes sleep out here, and it's so nice to sleep with sort of the doors open and wake up to sort of brilliant sunshine at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're in total fresh air. And it is such a nice vista from here as well, looking out onto the garden. I used to have a greenhouse here, but, you know, I didn't use it that much. And, I mean, with the summers getting hotter and everything, it's nice to have, you know, a pool for me. The pool, it's basically poured concrete between shutters. You know, there's a few tons of concrete in it. I painted it with a swimming pool paint, but it has its own plug and it flows away into a soak-away, so it sort of waters the garden as you drain it. So, you know, and the colour looks fabulous against the decking in the green. Well, the garden wasn't actually planned, it just sort of just developed. And I mean, such as this miscanthus here, this all started from, you know, one plant in a 3-litre pot. And every year I sort of, you know, split it. And eventually, we got a wall of miscanthus, which is nice because, you know, as the wind blows and everything, it moves. And even in the autumn, when it loses its green, you've got a lovely oaty colour right through to the spring. Also, I have Maclea, which has a nice sort of greeny blue leaf with serrated edges, but grows to about 8 foot tall. I've got this contorted willow in the middle of the decking, which absolutely looks sort of wonderful and sort of nice drippy foliage. I've got the cordyline palms, which again grow absolutely massive, and every time they flower they split. I mean, it's a real mixture. The thing is, just let yourself go wild, let your plants go wild a little bit, rather than crop them, let them flow a little bit.